Hi everyone, and welcome along to this, which is our session on Raspberry Pi Jamwich Magic Cloak. And if you want to get in touch with us, then write to us on these addresses. Right, so I'll get on with it and show you a demonstration of what the Magic Cloak is all about. So as you can see, we have a camera here, which I'm using an old DSLR camera, and you will need to use one that has live view. So I think from around 2008 or newer should have live view. The one I'm using up here is from 2013, and yeah, so you can use a webcam or otherwise a Raspberry Pi cam as well, but you wouldn't probably use that with G-Photo 2, which is what I'm going to show you today. So I'll show you how it works. As you can see, we have a sofa here, and I'm going to vanish this bear. So here's our bear. I'm going to put it here, and we're going to vanish it with our magic cloak. And of course, I can vanish parts of me as well. So, yeah, so I'm going to show you how that works. And you will need a cloth. And here is my magic cloth. And so I've got a red one here. You can have a different color if you like, but what is best is to have a flat color. This is not perfect because not only is it my Christmas tablecloth, it's also a little bit shiny, so it would be better to have something a bit more matte. I also have this green, proper green screen material, which is a very flat color and very matte, but you will need to change some values if you have a different color, and I'll show you where that is in a minute. So I'll come out of this. Okay. Now, you will need also a Raspberry Pi, and you don't need a particularly special Raspberry Pi, but you do need one that is 4 or newer. This is a 4B, and it has, I think, the medium amount of memory, and it has also got a what's it called, heatsink. Yeah, I don't know if we need that or not, but I do have that. So what we'll do then is show you what you need to install and how to go about running it. So we need 3 things to install. You need to install V4L2 loopback utils if you're going to be using the DSLR camera. And obviously I've already done that, and so I can't install it again. And you'll also need to install the G-Photo 2. And if you go to their website, there's a long list of cameras that they support. Yeah, so that's also the newest version. And best of all, this used to be really difficult to install, and that's why I said there was a trick to it, but now it's much easier to install. You can just install Python 3 OpenCV. And that is an AI library which will allow us to mask the color that you've chosen out of the frame. So there we go. And we have all of those things. Next, you'll need to use this command, sudo modprobe v4l2 loopback. And that allows us to use our video stream from the camera. So I won't put that in because it's already in. And then you need to run this very long command. And you can put this into a script, obviously, but I haven't done that. I'm just using it on the command line. And it's a little bit messy. I'm sorry about that, because it comes up with a lot of output. But yes, so it looks a bit of a scary thing because it's so long, but actually it's very simple. All you're doing is using G-Photo 2 and you're capturing the movie and streaming it to an outstream, then you're using FFmpeg, which should already be installed if you're using 64-bit. I think I should point out that you probably will have to use 64-bit because I tried to install V4L2 loopback for 32-bit and I couldn't get it to work. So I think you'll have to use 64-bit. FFmpeg, you're just putting as input the GPhoto 2 stream. And here we're using a raw video format with a common pixel format. We're using all the threads that Raspberry Pi 4 can give us. And we're using the V4L2 to stream onto this dev video naught. And we can do that. And then we shall actually not do that at the moment because I want to show you the other. It's very hard to see there. So here, this is the Python script that you need for OpenCV. And what we're doing is importing OpenCV, NumPy, and time. And we're converting our color from RGB format, which is the normal format you get, into an HSV format, where the H part of the format specifies the actual color, and hue is represented by a number corresponding to the angle on a color wheel. So you've probably seen the color wheel, and you can imagine how it's a continuous set of numbers. And we know that red is around 0 and also 360, where green is around 120 and blue around 240. So you probably wouldn't want to use blue because a lot of people wear blue all the time. And obviously, if the person is wearing the color that you've masked, it'll cause them to look like they've got just arms and legs. So also we have the saturation, which encodes the intensity of the color, where a higher value is more vivid. So pink is less saturated than red. And we also have the value, which represents the brightness of the color. So what we do first of all is capture about a minute of the background. Now the background that you want to use has probably got some type of reference points, like some sort of chair or a corner of a wall, something that isn't just completely flat. But what you really don't want is a moving background, because you're going to save the background and then later you're going to be having the new frames, and you don't want the background to change because it won't look like the same as the new frames. So if you see what I mean, the background is kind of in the past from the new frames, and that's how we're masking the color and looking down to the background. So then we capture our new frames, and there's this area here called block, and you need to change these numbers if you're using a different color and maybe a different red. So like if you had more of an orangey red, it probably wouldn't be masked out by these numbers. So after that, all you're doing is running these commands, which help you to remove some of the spots, if there are any spots of different color, and then you mask out that color completely from your frames. And that's basically the whole thing. It's basically like a green screen technology, but it's in front of you instead of behind you. And then you can, so we'll go on to run it again. And there we go. And yes, we're capturing the background. And here's our screen. Now, if this doesn't pop up, you can go up here, and there is a VLC media player, which you can open. You'll need to go to Media, open the capture device, choose Video Camera, and say that it's happening on Dev Video Naught. Okay, but we don't need to do that right now because it's automatically opened. Now this time the bear is in the background slide and we won't be able to vanish it, as you can see. You can't vanish the bear now because it's in the background. However, I can still vanish myself. So I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration, and write to us if you have any comments. And thanks, and see you another time. And we'll be back in person in Norwich in September, so look out for that.